The living built their own ports so people like them could avoid the harsh experiences of the dying portion of the island. But at night, amidst the festive sounds from that side, the living were haunted by the unmistakable groans of death. Some shook their heads in disgust. Others moved to the furthest shore so that they wouldn't be troubled with such sounds. But there were those who could no longer dismiss the groans. They formed committees and assigned tasks. Then the living began to post signs along the water's edge, and occasionally the bravest would form a small troop and wade to the opposite bank to speak to the dying of their plight. In the kindest terms, they described the meals and life awaiting them if only they would swim over. But to their dismay, only a few came. Very few. And so this pattern continued for years. Each culture grew more entrenched. The living comforted themselves that at least a few had been saved, until, in the midst of a meeting, someone asked, "What if we build a bridge to make it easier to cross from one side to the other?" Some scoffed, but others agreed, and a bridge was built. The living stood on the bridge and announced how easy they had now made it for the dying to join them. Quickly, they returned to their meetings and awaited the influx from the other side. But the influx was at best a trickle. The living scratched their heads. "Why isn't the bridge working the way it should?" they asked. But they weren't the only ones who were confused. You see, the dying grew suspicious of these strangers with all their odd dialect and culture. Why should they believe there were any great banquets on the other side? Besides, they didn't feel like they were dying.